Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Shout out to everybody in the chat. My goodness, let the people come in here. Yes, make sure you guys are hitting that like button right on time. Again, second time, right on time. We're doing a good job. Yes, right on time this time. We'll still get interrupted because that's what happens, because baby buddy runs around and she does what she does, and I got to put it on pause and tend to her. But we're right on time. Now, while we wait for people to get in here, ooh, you got the flu? Oh my gosh, TD, get better. I'm sorry. With the weather changes and the snow and all this other, this stuff is going around, y'all. So thank God. I better knock on wood because, everything happens. I don't even know this is wood. I don't think this is wood. Anyways, I'll knock like that. It surprises me that I haven't been there yet. Thank God. But yes, everybody take care of yourselves. Take your vitamin C, whatever vitamins and extra whatever elderberries and stuff like that, because that stuff is like ridiculous, man. Stuff gets around. So get better, Dee. Get better. Welcome everybody. Welcome. All right. So before we get started, I don't know if you guys watch the Tyra Banks, if what is it, Netflix preview? Put a one in the chat if you guys watched the Netflix preview that just aired like a couple hours ago. We got to watch it before we get onto this, because oh my god, I'm so here for it. I shared it with the Discord folks. Um, so Netflix is doing I guess they're doing like a deep dive into America's Next Top Model. Now, I will say America's Next Top Model was like one of my favorite shows. Now, I'm talking about when it first started. I didn't really watch like how many seasons? I think I watched like 1 through 4 or 1 through 5 when it first started, not like in the later. I can't tell you anything about, but I remember like the OG American Next Top Models, right? So, there's been a lot of controversy about America's Next Top Model and everything, specifically with Tyra Banks. Jay Alexander has spoken out. There's been so many people that have spoken out. So I was like, I can't believe that all of these individuals are going to be sitting down and they're going to be doing a whole review of this, the controversies, the legacy. I'm here for it, man. I'm so here for it. Let's watch this preview, and that'll give people some time to get in here before we get into the content that we're about to talk about. Right here, I remember the episode where one of the girls, they had to like chop her hair, and she was crying because she did not want to cut her hair. I remember like that episode is like right here, lives rent free. Then I remember the episode of there was the chopping of the hair, and there was just so many of them that just kind of stayed there in my mind. The beautiful There was this beautiful girl. Oh my god, like her face she had to do a photo shoot with the spider. That terrified. I'm so arachnophobic, y'all. Like I have the biggest fear of spiders. This thing was like huge tarantula right on her. I don't know how she did it. You could tell in her face that she went to like a state of like, I don't know, like she just disappeared from that and everything. It was ridiculous. You said Tyra gives you the look like she gonna cut you up. Yeah, she did. I mean, Tyra was so cutthroat in that shit. I think she also kind of liked it that way. Like she liked that persona. But let me see. There was this one episode. It was earlier on, America's Next Top Model episode with Spider and then the model. I forgot her name, man. She's gorgeous. Gorgeous girl. Eva. Eva Marcelli, I think that was her name, or Marcella. Oh my gosh. The girl who was panic stricken. So a bunch of the models had to do this shoot, right? And it was specifically, oh yes, there it is. There it is. Oh my God. This girl right here, like her eyes were just mesmerizing. Gorgeous girl. This girl right here, I cannot, I think her name was Eva or Ava. She had to have it, like she was so scared of spiders. Can you imagine? I don't think I would have been able to do it. I don't think I'd have been able to do it. You said no. Sorry, I love you clearly, Shelly, but I'm sorry. That we would have to disagree with. I do not know. No, 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 no. No. You said yeah, she did give that whole vibe. But anyways, so it's a show that it really it just kind of like something that I watched all the time growing up. So of course I'm seeing this and I'm so like Tyra, you are effed up for saying that. You guys kept demanding it. This is why we kept pushing it. Yeah, like the audience demanded for girls to go to the hospital and, you know, go through shit that they didn't have to go through in a traditional runway. That's exactly what the audience was demanding. Get out of here with that. Yes, Tracy, Eva the Diva, she was my favorite. She was so gorgeous. Her eyes, just mesmerizing eyes, just gorgeous girl. Yeah, so when she did that shoot with the spider, and I literally like I'm really scared of spiders. So when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, like the fact that she was able to hold her fear in so that it didn't kind of go all over the place. She owned that shoot. She really did. That being said though, I don't know. So I know Tyra Banks and Jay Alexander and who else? A bunch of these people that were up on there that were judging. I don't even know if Janice Cannon is in that shoot, in that thing. It- like you guys remember the original OG judges? Hold up. Let's see. Not Janice, it was Janice Dickerson or Dickerson. The one of the first models. Um, it was Janice, Tyra, Jay Alexander. I don't. Sorry, I have to check this. Jay Alexander and who else? Mrs. J. There's a bunch of the OGs there, right? Let's see. This is the original people. Here are the original judges. I remember them. Well, I don't know him, but I do remember the original judges. There's Janice, who was like next top model. She was up there when Gia Karanji was like the top. This is like, old stuff, right? But I remember watching these shows and just being at odd. And then I think Tyra and Jay Alexander fell out eventually. Like they all fell out with each other. All of them. Tyra, she was like, I'm done with that, everybody. So there was that. Dickerson, right? Dickerson. Um, you said Rabbit Girl feels so nostalgic. Well, I cannot wait. Like, I guess it's gonna come up sometime in what is it? When is it released? I think it's did they say that it was gonna come out February 16th. So I'm here for it. But I just cannot. I'm like, come on, Tyra. When she said this, I said, oh no. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. Reviewing. I'm here for it. I think I have a copy of a America's Next Top Model contract, believe it or not. I have to check my I think I do. I'll have to check on my emails because once upon a time when I want to say was it 3 or 2 years ago? It was 3 years ago. Anyways, somebody messaged me and they sent me some information about America's Next Top Model. They were looking at contracts and stuff like that. So I've always been like I told you guys, I have friends that work in reality TV, so I kind of know some people. So it's always these contracts are very interesting. So I was able to look at a couple things. I can't wait for that documentary. We definitely going to talk about it. You said Janice Dickerson was the world first top model, supermodel. She'd tell you a dozen times before lunch. Clearly, Shelley, possibly. But let me tell you something. What Janice does not tell you. Gia Karanji, I believe, was the OG. Okay. She didn't like being kind of compared to Gia. She didn't like that shit, right? Now, if you guys have never seen, I think it was the movie Gia. This was one of Angelina Jolie's first movies. She portrayed a supermodel, her. Gia Karanji was like one of the first before Janice. Now, Janice has talked about Gia, but I don't think they liked each other. Gia died of complications, with you know, she died. All right. She was addicted to rugs. She was the first supermodel. She died of AIDS related complications. Okay. Gorgeous, beautiful girl. There's been so many documentaries about this girl. The modeling industry always amazes me. These beautiful individuals and whatnot. Angelina Jolie did a movie on this on Gia to try to capture her and stuff like that. But Gia herself, she's got a very interesting story. Gia came up around the same time that Janice did, but Gia was the one that was the first. Who's going to argue with Janice? Gia's gone, right? So there's that. She doesn't talk about that. Yeah, she was so jealous of Gia. Like, this is like OG, like back in the day. This is when Wilhelmina models. This is that oh my god, there's a great YouTuber, I forgot her name, who does a lot of like the OG connections to the industry and stuff like that. I love her voice. Is it Adore or Allure? Anyways, I like watching her content because she talks about these OG models and like when they start out, she was like the first one, to kind of bring in a certain look, winter look on Vogue. So yeah, Janice was very jealous of Gia for sure. So now that Janice says, "Well, I was the first," well, I mean, Gia's not here, so I guess who's going to argue with Janice? Nobody. It is a very sad story. Um, yep. You said which model did Liam Payne exit in the I don't even want to talk about that lady biscuit. I forgot her name. Like that's how irrelevant she is. The only reason why anybody knew her was because she was with Liam Payne. That's how it was. Okay. Sorry, guys. 1 second. You said I could never get on the Angelina train. I could never get on the Angelina train. Something always seems off. Yeah, Angelina was a different, Angelina Jolie, I think, is a different kind of personality. But she portrayed Gia very well. I'll say that. As far as what I've been told, who Gia was, but there's a lot of articles and a lot of movies out there about Gia, documentaries. I said watch it. It's a very sad story. Gia's story and her life was very sad, but very interesting. He said nobody wants to waste their times with Janice. No, Janice is a trip, man. Janice, I remember when she dated Sylvester Stallone. That lady was a trip. It is a trip. I mean, she's still here. So I do wonder if they feature her on this America's Next Top Model documentary because, love or hate Janice. Janice is like OG American Next Top Model. She was there when the first episodes happened. So, and she was kind of like the Simon Cowell of the situation, right? You had America's Next Top Model, you had American Idol. Janice was the Simon Cowell of America's Next Top Model. Gia was very young when she passed. Yeah, she was like in her 20s. She was Winged Matchbox. Okay. Sorry, I took us somewhere else before we get started to our content. All right. So let's get back a little bit. Earlier today, we talked about this case out of Reno. All right. So, for those that are new to this case, I'll give you a quick little rundown before we really get into the documents. If you want the first like read of it, you might want to watch the live from earlier because it'll help out with that. So, this is a situation where you have a judge, okay? A judge who presides and sits over family court in Reno. She is a 60-year-old, her name is, well, she's 60-year-old Bridget Robb, and she's a judge, okay? And then you have a lawyer. Lawyer is young. I don't know what her age is, but she's young, okay? Who started dating the judge's ex boyfriend. And sometime in 2024, they start dating, they start dealing with each other. She had seen this judge, she had seen Judge Bridget. The lawyer, her name is Kelci. Kelci had seen Judge Bridget in various events. They're lawyers. She's a lawyer, she's a judge. They're going to run into each other, right? That's what they're going to do. So she starts dating the judge's ex boyfriend. And suddenly there's like an increase of appearances. This judge is like everywhere. She starts driving, like she's in her driving area, in her cul-de-sac, in her vicinity, in her Pilates class. This started in 2024 and it has continued on, right? At some point, it just gets scary. It got so bad to the point that the boyfriend who she's dating, who's the judge's ex, he starts trying to intervene and messaging the judge and basically telling her, like, listen, you got to stop stalking her. Like, telling her, you have to stop stalking her. You cannot be following her. You can't be going to these areas. Now, The areas where this judge is getting into is very specific. Like if you're driving to a cul-de-sac, you kind of know where you're going unless you're lost, right? If you've ever been, I've been lost before, you might turn into a cul-de-sac and then you out of there, right? You're not stopping, you're not parking because there's nobody else that you're going to see at this cul-de-sac. You're literally just trying to park your car and, get to your house or see somebody, whoever it may be. But this judge doesn't have anybody that lives there, right? She had moved Kelci had moved to another property. And then again, the same situation starts happening where she's driving. The judge might be driving from the opposite road and, they're just bumping into each other. There's a store. I mean, she is literally everywhere where this lawyer and the boyfriend is at. She's there. She's there all the time. They're being followed. She goes to Pilates at 6 a.m. She's there. She's parking out there. People in the Pilates class start noticing, you know? And so Kelci's like being a lawyer and everything. And Reno, some could say, oh, Reno is small. People know people. Look, Reno is Reno, right? I wouldn't necessarily say that you're going to bump into the same person every day, right? Kelci starts documenting the many times that she's bumping into this judge. Okay. She's like, whoa, like, and she documents this. And she's like, finally, I am going to do a protection order. She had already filed a police report. So there were some detectives that were already working on this investigation. 300 times, Kelci has documented and said, based on her own protection order application, which is what we have here, she has been stalked since 2024, 300 times by this judge. The detectives, right? They start, they see the police report and they're like, well, we're going to get, we're going to intervene. We're going to start doing stakeouts. They start doing stakeouts and they notice in more than one occasion that the judge is consistently in the vicinity of where Kelci's at. So the detectives, they do a stop, right? Like a traffic stop or something like that. And then they start interviewing the judge, okay, Judge Bridget. And in this interview, in their body cam footage, the judge discloses and admits that she is stalking Kelci. Yes, I'm stalking her. Yeah, just says it like that. And she further admits that, she's upset. She is jealous and she's upset that Kelci is with her ex. And she finds comfort in being able to follow and basically stalk her. The judge said stalking. She admitted to stalking in the body cam footage, guys. So, of course, Kelci, being worried, being a lawyer, right? You could imagine what that's like. She is a up and coming lawyer, young. She's young in the profession. There's colleagues, the lawyer world is so small, right? In this community, that's what it seems like, right? Judges, you start to know people, right? And she's like, as a woman, I'm taken back by the fact that not only do I have to write this stalking thing, right? But she's in the profession. She's in there. She knows people. She has access to things. She's an elected official. Okay. Kelci had gotten a divorce in between that time. And she had filed for her divorce. And that divorce went to the family court division, which is the same division that this judge presides over. In those court documents was Kelci's new address. She hadn't shared this with anybody. So Kelci had a house that she owned, and then she also rented a house. That house right there that she rented, that was the house that she was, hoping to be kind of like the escape situation, right? Well, she starts noticing that the judge is driving to the new address, to the rented property. So a lot of this is all she can only come up with. Well, clearly she got my information from the court documents. which one would assume that if you're a judge and you're sitting over like, and she didn't share this information with anybody. There was no reason why anybody would know where she would live, especially this judge. And this judge drives a particular car, a Jeep, right? Kelci has seen this Jeep so many times that she has memorized it in her head, what it looks like, everything that it has, some duck stickers, like very specific type of license plates. She knows what this Jeep looks like. It's a white Jeep. Okay. So finally, Kelci's like, I'm at my wit's end. All right. She gets these detectives. Detectives, they interview the judge. They got body cam footage. They don't arrest the judge. Okay. I'm assuming right then and there they didn't have, I guess, probable cause to do so, right? Because yes, even though the judge has confessed to the fact that she's stalking her, she's upset, she's overwhelmed, and she finds comfort in stalking her. It wasn't enough for them to arrest her, even though she made all these direct statements to the cops. The detectives told this to Kelci. So all of this is just direct statements. The interesting part, though, I think, and one should know, right, because these are elected officials, these judges. This judge sits over stalking cases too, right? Stalking cases, family court cases, DV cases. She's hearing these things. She's hearing victims. And yet she has become a perpetrator of this behavior at this point, right? That's crazy work. It is. You said, does the court system not have an HR department? Well, I don't know. And I don't even know. It's kind of weird because it's like she's an elected official. So what that looks like exactly, God only knows. Does she report to HR about the judge's stalking? She doesn't work in that court. She just happens to be an attorney, right? So I don't know what kind of recourse. The only thing I could think about is stalking protection order would be the only way to do it. You said that's really odd. If she's being stopped for stalking and then admits she's stalking, she should have been arrested. I know, right? She wasn't arrested. So we were talking about this and we're reviewing this earlier. However, stalking has a legal definition. Maybe she didn't meet it. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe she didn't meet that legal definition. Or maybe these officers were like, well, shit, do we really want to get into this right now? Have the lawyer submit a protection order and then have a judge hear it, impartial to this situation. Which, could they be impartial? If he's also a judge and an elected official, could anybody really be impartial in this point? We hear about stalking cases when it comes to I've seen this all the time, law enforcement. Law enforcement, they might have their partner and they start stalking the ex or something like that. I've seen that happen. We have never, or at least it's been very rare to hear about a female judge stalking a female attorney. So that's why I was like, well, we got to talk about this. And what is this all about? Judge Bridget has made a statement and says she is stepping down. She's resigning as of, I think, in the next couple of days. She'll be stepping down from her position, her elected position. I don't know if anybody is is there any other concerns about this? I mean, I'm concerned for this lady, and I don't even know her. But anyways, watch our video earlier. We get into the first couple documents. I think I've given you a pretty good summary. Where we left off today, okay, we're going to start on, we left off on the fact that she goes to Pilates and the lady that runs the Pilates course, who's a witness to this, she parks her car under another business because there's no traffic. And it's like a title company business. She starts noticing that the judge is also parking in that area too. So she's documenting this too. There's people in the vicinity that have been witnessing this judge stalking this lawyer in Pilates. Upon learning this information from blank, and I called blank, and the blanks are redacted names, witnesses, and I believe the boyfriend, whose names have been redacted. And I I called blank and I relayed what had said, and he described the phone call he just had completed with Miss Robb, the judge. Told me that Miss Robb, let me move it over here, initially tried to make an excuse that she was getting a Coke at 5:30 in the morning. She's parking at her Pilates business where she does workouts to get a Coke at 5:30 in the morning. Blank and I discussed the various reasons this did not make sense. Miss Robb had just been up by blank house and then sitting in her car waiting for me in the Plumgate Center and told me Miss Robb finally came around and admitted to stalking me, acknowledged how her behavior could cause me to be fearful, and promised to stop. For 3 weeks, Miss Robb willfully parked behind Stuart Title in plain sight under a camera without making an attempt to hide. I finally accepted that Miss Robb would not stop stalking me unless I sought assistance from the police and the courts. To further support Miss Robb's course of conduct, history, and pattern stalking behavior in support of the December 22nd, 2025 stalking event, I corresponded and spoke with another studio member and regular 6 a.m. class attendee. That witness name is redacted, who will be a witness at the extension hearing, attach Exhibit 6, and incorporated herein by reference in a written statement from blank and blank explains she consistently enters the Plumgate Center from Arlington before 6 a.m. classes and looks over behind the Stuart Title to see if blank has parked in her blank spot to determine whether the studio has been open or whether she may still need to sit in her car until blank arrives to ensure blank safely gets from her car to the studio. Blank confirmed starting around December 8th for approximately 3 weeks, she noticed a white Jeep parked behind the building Stuart Title is in, where blank had been parked. And over the next couple of weeks, including December 22nd, 2025, blank and blank kept watched and discussed and commented as this repeated pattern and unusual behavior. So what the judge did is she was basically parking in another location. So she had a conversation with the ex. I promise I'm not doing this. I'm not going to do this anymore. Yada, yada, yada. She kept doing the behavior, except this time she was parking in a different location. And other witnesses from the other locations kept noticing. Her excuse is that she wanted to get a Coke at 5:30 in the morning. But okay, I mean, everybody drinks Coke at different times, I guess. I don't know. It further goes, okay? I have requested from the detective. Hold up. Did I lose my spot? I did. Yes, I did. Hold up. On Tuesday, December 23rd, I drove around the building behind where Miss Robb had been parked, and I noticed various cameras in the building, including a camera on the top southwest corner of the building directly above where Miss Robb had been parking. I went into and spoke with the receptionist at the Stuart Title Company, and she was given the contact information from the property manager. So it was with Commercial Project Management in Nevada. On Wednesday, December 24th, I called and spoke with and emailed and asked that she preserve critical footage evidence pertaining to the date Miss Robb was parked behind the building. I also spoke with the bartender and texted and emailed a general manager of Champagne and Chocolate. Okay, the address is there, located in this area, and asked that he please retain critical footage/evidence. Detective confirmed blank and blank uploaded footage video to him. Detective said that the footage from blank shows Miss Robb's Jeep and confirmed her footage from multiple dates shows a parked white car and confirmed on December 22nd, a second white car, my vehicle, drove behind the parked white car, Miss Robb's Jeep. I have requested from the detective but not yet received this footage as evidence to support this application, and I incorporate it herein by reference. Over the last year and a half, I documented, videoed, and photographed some, but not all, of the estimated 300 stalking events of Ms. Robb. I did not start documenting Ms. Robb's stalking events right away because I was in denial and disbelief that Ms. Robb, a judge, was stalking me and was hopeful she would stop. It was when Miss Robb continued and altered her stalking behavior after I had a camera security installed at my rental house at blank that I realized I could no longer naively hope Miss Robb would stop stalking me because I was often driving when a stalking event occurred. I was not able to document such events, get photographs and or video every single stalking event. I often texted my mom or blank after a stalking event as a way to log such events. Below is a further summary of specific instances Miss Robb's stalking of me. She had to get $15,000 of surveillance. That's how bad it got, guys. That's how bad it got. And oh my God, let me shout out Intergalactic Defender. Thank you so much for renewing your membership, love. Shout out to you. Sorry I didn't shout you out right away. My goodness. That's crazy work. How often she was being stalked. Good morning to you. Shout out to you. Um, You said, "I'm not getting up and out that early to stalk anybody," says clearly, Shelly, I was reading your message, and she's like, "Listen," because I said something about retirement. I'm like, "If you're 60, I'm thinking you're ready, you're doing your thing." I mean, I guess there is no age. Anybody can be stalked at different ages or be a stalker at different ages, but shout out to you. Your comment made me laugh earlier. I had to go back to the comments. Yeah, she spent like $15,000 on security just to set up the security. Yeah. Well, happy birthday to you. Happy early birthday to you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's keep going. Like this had me intrigued. I said, Lord have mercy. Um, oh, that might be a good right. Well, then if you hire a if you're able to document the stalking, that's great, right? But if you hire a private investigator, so you're hiring the private investigator to follow you because she's following you. Document all that too. Very well. And they thought they had trackers in their cars too. Keep that in mind. Okay. So now she's going to tell us of various events. On February 22nd, 2025, at about 10:03 a.m., I texted Blank that Miss Robb pulled up behind me on Plum Lane as I left at 9 a.m. Pilates class. C provided screenshot dated February 22nd, 2025. Okay, that's attached as an exhibit. On February 25th, 2025, at about 9:46 p.m., that was a different day. I texted my mom, blank, that Miss Robb drove into the blank cul-de-sac past my house again. She provided a screenshot, date February 25th, 2025, attached here, Exhibit 8. And it's incorporated in there. On March 4th, 2025, at about 8:33 p.m., I texted blank that Miss Robb drove into blank cul-de-sac past my house again. She provided screenshots, dates March 4th, 2025, attached, Exhibit 9, and incorporated here in reference. So if you notice the stalking events, they are happening either early in the morning or late at night, typically after court hours, like she's not working. 9:46, she's got one at 9 in the morning. No, she left at 9 in the morning. Yeah. Yeah. 9 in the morning. There's one morning there, but the majority of these stalking events are in the evening. 8:33 when like she's out of work, okay? From approximately May 2024 to June 2025, Ms. Robb drove into my blank cul-de-sac past my house on Dr. Charles approximately 3 to 5 times a week, and I'm aware of and witness. She drove by early in the morning before my 6 a.m. Pilates class or later in the evening. I asked my partially retired next door neighbor at blank, blank, blank to keep an eye out for a white Jeep in our cul-de-sac passing in front of the cul-de-sac. Oh my God, I'd be like, I'm the neighbor and I'm dealing with this. Her house has a direct view of the Charles Drive. Will be a witness to the extension. So the neighbor is now a witness. Notice and made comments to me regarding white Jeeps, Miss Robb's unusual pattern and behavior of driving in or around out of the cul-de-sac. Specifically told me she saw Miss Robb driving in the cul-de-sac early morning around 6 or 6:30 a.m. So early morning. On March 8th or 9th, reference in Exhibit 12, Miss Robb willfully and repeated course of conduct caused me to feel so frightened and fearful to engage blank blank to engage of All Out Security Solutions and communicate. I believe I had a stalker and I paid almost 4,000 for installation of professional cameras, alarm systems at my rental house. I did not plan to live there for much longer. She provided screenshot, date, February 25th, 2025, attach your HIN, exhibits 10. She also paid invoice date March 25th, 2025. Excuse me. C also paid invoice. So that's another exhibit. So this is her paying for all the security, the installation. Then there's March 5th, where she notes, I documented Miss Robb drove in the blank blank cul-de-sac past my house at 6:38 p.m. So a lot of after hours and early morning. So C provided screenshot exhibit 12 and incorporated herein by reference. C also provided video clip taken March 7th, 8:49 a.m. when blank assisted me with accessing recorded footage. I recorded footage of Miss Robb pulling in and out of the cul-de-sac as included in label exhibit 13. Okay, so they have a USB thumb drive. Then on or about March 8th or 9th, the neighbor, Miss Robb, drove into the cul-de-sac in front of the house around 6 or 6:30. So again, these are just a timeline and events. On April 9th, now we go to April. This is where she's got exhibits in this thing, by the way, which we'll look at as well. I documented notes section on my phone that she drove in and out of the cul-de-sac and past my house again. On May 9th, at 8:56 a.m., I texted that Miss Robb drove in the cul-de-sac past my house. So again, then there's May 10th, May 9th, and May 10th at about 8:51. I left into the house to the Pilates at 9 a.m. and texted, and Miss Robb drove past me. Okay. Oh my God. From approximately February 2024 to present, I haven't continued to attend therapy 1 to 2 times a week via telehealth and would often drive home from work for therapy sessions. Over the last year and a half, Ms. Robb's continued stalking of me. I have sought the assistance of my therapist to navigate my anxiety, terror, intimidation, and fear for my immediate safety that Ms. Robb's continued stalking has caused me. My ongoing worry about going to the police due to her being a respected and powerful judge. My 1 hour therapy appointment times varied, but were typically between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. on multiple occasions during my drive between my house and my office located on blank. I saw Ms. Robb in the cul-de-sac on the Charles Drive. Okay, and this was on April 29, 2025. I had therapy via telehealth. 12 to 1 p.m., I had driven home from work and was leaving my house to return to work. As I drove towards the end of my cul-de-sac, I saw Miss Robb driving her Jeep in front of me, passing the cul-de-sac. Oh my God, heading and there's more pictures of that I took from the vehicle and then dated April 29, 2025 at 1:14 to 1:15 p.m. What is she going to lunch? She's like, all right, I'm going to go eat my burger and then I'm going to go and take pictures or stalk this lady. There's more exhibits. On June 26, 2025, I closed on the purchase of a new home. Address redacted. Okay, I hoped the move would end Miss Robb's stalking conduct, but I still felt fearful of her discovering my new address. The neighborhood consists of a remote private road looped owned by the residents, similar to my rental house. Okay, let's see. And then it further says that especially with the obstructive speed bumps placed strategically throughout the road to be blank, no other than to specifically visit a resident, you can't really be in this new house area. Like there can't be any trespassing because it's a private road. But she's driving to the private road based on what the lawyer is saying. Kelci is saying. She would hope Miss Robb would not willfully trespass on private property. Within a few weeks of moving to my new address, now mind you, how did she find out about the new address? Allegedly through her divorce documents. Because what? The judge sits over family court, DV family court issues. Miss Robb somehow discovered not only that I had moved, but also my new address. Miss Robb consistently started a pattern of driving around the back of my house, looping around the front of my house early in the morning at around 5:40 a.m. before I left for Pilates, and again later in the evening around 7 or 7:30 p.m. Often when Miss Robb drove by, I was on the phone with or called blank and and my mom out of fear and disbelief that Miss Robb tracked down my new home and continued to stalk, causing me fear to feel terrorized, frightened, and intimidated and harassed and fearful for my safety in my new house. Since moving to blank, I started walking to Pilates in the morning because the studio is now only blank away from my home. On August 6, 2025, I took a shortcut, a stairway from my neighborhood behind the commercial complex located in the corner of the Plum Lane. Okay, I don't want to name roads. I came to the top of the stairs and across an asphalt parking lot and looked across the lane and saw Miss Robb staring at me, parked in the Jeep in the North Stonehouse parking lot, facing the lane. She provided screenshots. Oh my God. I wondered if Miss Robb knew I had took this route and knew where to park to watch me walk up the stairs to Pilates. Terrified again, I texted Blank and called and spoke to my mom about the incident. For fear of my life, my mom asked that I no longer walk to Pilates for fear of Miss Robb would run me over while crossing the street. Labor Day, September 1st, 2025. I'm like, let me stop right here. I am like, what? Hey, Pinche Becky, how are you? Guys, make sure you guys are hitting that like button, please, and thank you. That is insane. Like, you said you call the police every time. That's what you're supposed to do, but oh my God. This is ridiculous. Let's keep going. Jesus. Labor Day, December 1st, 2025. And I were sitting, Blank and I were sitting outside my back deck around 3 p.m. and saw Miss Robb drive around the back of my house. In a panic, I immediately ran to the front of the house and a minute or so later, hold up, uh, ran to the back of my house. And a minute or so later, I saw her pass the front of my house. On September 8, 2025, around 5:35 a.m., as I was sitting in my bed drinking coffee before Pilates class, and Miss Robb drove past the back of my house. Half naked, I jumped out of my bed, ran to the front of my house, and recorded her in her white Jeep passing the front of my house. She provided video. She provided video dated September 8th, submitted and labeled Exhibit 20. Okay, and it's in the USB thumb drive. Okay. Frightened and intimidated, I called Blank and I shared the video with him. Shortly thereafter, Blank called Miss Robb to confront her and tell her that her stalking of me was causing me to fear and ask her to stop stalking me. Miss Robb said she would and promised to stop stalking me. Frightened, terrorized, and intimidated again, even more fearful for my safety, I began working with the security company to install a hardwire security camera for my safety. I began working with a security company to install a hardwire camera alarm system in my new home. This time I spent close to 10,000 installing cameras around my home in the hopes of deterring Miss Robb from continuing to engage in the stalking of me in my home. She provided 2-page invoice. Okay, so there's an invoice in there. Lord have mercy. Okay, despite Miss Robb's promise to Blank on September 8th, she would not stop stalking me. Okay, so we've kind of reviewed this already. So the stalking escalated on September 12th. Around 7 a.m., I drove to Blank's house down Skyline, and Miss Robb parked and was sitting in her car just past Urban Road facing north. I drove to my favorite muffin. I sat at the table in the northwest corner of the restaurant. A few minutes after sitting down, I realized Miss Robb had followed me from her parked position onto and she drove east on the road past the front windows of the restaurant. A couple of minutes later, Miss Robb again passed the restaurant driving west. I took pictures of her as she passed. Panicked, I texted later, called Blank. C provided screenshots. Okay, like all of these exhibits. Let's keep going. So then I drove home to attend a 2 p.m. telehealth therapy session. Around 3 p.m. it ended. I walked out to my back deck to say hi to my parents who were at my house with their dog while their house cleaner cleaned their home. My parents and I saw Ms. Robb drive by the back of my property. On October 16, 2025, at approximately 1:35 a.m., a white Jeep drove along the road directly to the back of the property. See provided video. Okay. Then you have October 16, 2025 at 1:35 a.m. She included the label. Okay, that's in there. October 22nd, 2025, around 5:30, I drove to blank house down Skyline in Arlington to attend Pilates, and I drove past Miss Robb's parked and sitting in her car facing north to the entrance of Plumgate. I take every morning to take to Pilates. See provided screenshots, October 22nd, 2025. So this is Exhibit 28. Okay. Now on December 2nd, 2025, Blank called me to tell me he had gone home early and saw Miss Robb drive past his home on his way to the mailbox. I immediately afterwards said Miss Robb texted him and responded, I need you to stop driving by my house and Kelsey's house, please. To which Miss Robb responded, you have my word. That's the exhibits. On December 13th, 2025. Oh, sorry about that, baby bunny. Blank and I were driving home from an event and pulled onto the street Blank as we passed Blank, a remote cul-de-sac 2 houses down from Blank. We saw Miss Robb in her Jeep in the cul-de-sac. We watched as she exited the cul-de-sac and saw her back tire cover and custom license plates. And I again discussed our disbelief of how Miss Robb could know when we would be heading home from a holiday party, and our fear that Miss Robb was so regularly following us on a tracking devices was being used to track us. A screenshot of the complete content of the USB thumb drive submitted with this application is included Exhibit 29. Okay. So, oh, Lord have mercy. So these are she wrote more paragraphs for these exhibits. That is gonna I'm gonna be able to read all this here. Lord have mercy. And she signed it. But let's look at, oh, I cannot hold up, y'all, because it's showing numbers. I gotta be careful. Oh my God. Hold up. This is ridiculous. So the exhibit shows a number. I'm just telling you what it says, okay? It shows her phone number. Exhibit 1ABC. There's a text message. What? Let me see. Hold up, y'all. Hey, I'm thinking it's that time of year. Has your election happened? Can you talk? Yes. Hi, yes. And I lost. I need you to stop driving by my house and Kelsey's house, please. Is he also a judge? Is the boyfriend a judge too? Give me one sec, guys. Sorry, guys. Okay, sorry. And I hope you guys can't hear Baby Bunny because she's loud right now. She's upset. She's playing Jenga and the Jenga fell out all over the place. I think the boyfriend is a judge. Okay. Let me read the text message. Okay. So she is texting Judge Bridget Robb is texting the boyfriend. Boyfriend's name is redacted. And it says, hey, I'm thinking it's that. Give me one sec, y'all. Sorry about that. So let me see if I can look at it because I can't show it because it's got the phone number. And it says, hey, I'm thinking it's that time of year. Has your election happened? Can you talk? Bridget is texting the boyfriend. The boyfriend responds, hi, yes, and I lost. I need you to stop driving by my house and Kelsey's house, please. She responds. So that's why I'm assuming he's a judge because he responds, yes, and I lost. And Bridget's asking, has your election happened? Can you talk? Kelci responds to, excuse me, not Kelci. The judge responds to the boyfriend's message. I am really sorry about the election. I believe this choice is short and sighted and will be recognized as a mistake in the future. On the bright side, you can concentrate on practicing law now. You have my word. What? Okay, let me see if there's a way I can redact this. Hold up. Can I blur something? Let me use all the tools here. I should be able to redact this. No, I don't want to reactivate anything. Um, let's can I crop this? Oh, this is crazy work. This is crazy work. I'm like literally tripping. The judges the, her response is like, don't worry. I'm really sorry that you lost the election. I'm sorry about the election. I believe this choice is short and sighted and will be recognized as a mistake in the future. On the bright side, you can concentrate on practicing law now. You have my word. That he's asking you to stop following him at his house. Yeah, what does that even mean? Oh, like y'all, like I don't even think this video will suffice for this. There's another message. Hi, yes. Okay, wait. Hold up. She says, wait, there's more of this message. I'm really sorry about the election. I believe that the choice is short-sighted and I'm going this way because the text messages are flipped and will be recognized as a mistake in the future. On the bright side, you can concentrate on practicing law now. You have my word. A lot of life has happened since we have last talked. At least for me, I'd like to talk when you're able. Let me know. She still wants to talk to him. Judge Robe still wants to talk to the ex. He's like, life has happened. Let me know when we could talk. I know, right? Shelly, Shelly, it's like, dude, the judge is like, well, it's like they're talking. She speaks like they talk every day. Like, lady, you're being told to stop. Hold up. I'm going to see what I can show, guys, because some of the stuff is like exhibit 4. Some of these exhibits are just statements. What is this? Now I'm going this way because the message is this way. Um, let's see. So Kelci is sending a message to someone. Saturday, February 22nd at 10:03 a.m. The judge was behind me leaving Pilates on Plum. Take pics of the license. Okay. So, this is communication between her and then there's mom. This is the boyfriend. Again, redacted. I think the boyfriend is a judge, just letting y'all know, or it was a judge because he was not reelected from what we know. Let's see. The judge lady drove past me. So she is texting her mom at about 9:46 p.m. and letting mom know that the judge lady drove past me again, past the house. So a lot of these are screenshots of capturing moments that she has, if she wasn't able to document right away, she has able to capture through conversation that the judge was driving near and next to her. Oh, this is crazy work. I got to show you guys this exhibit right here. Some exhibits I can't show because of the thing, but this is it's upside down, y'all, but like that's an example. So like the Jeep is right there. I don't know if y'all can see that. My mouse is right here. Here it is. The Jeep is right there. Okay, the judge lady. Oh, this is crazy work. All right, hold up. Let me stop sharing. So this was her taking pictures. She's like, she's capturing all for notes as she should. Oh shit, here's another one. Hold up. At the stage. There's the Jeep. I mean, luckily the licenses are pretty blurry. You can't even see that, right? A lot has changed. I've amped up my stalking. Yeah, a lot has changed. Life is different now. Like, you see these people every day because 'cause you're stalking them, like, so weird. Oh my god, like, the complete removal of reality is crazy for me. Hold up, let's keep going. Okay, so she gives us a receipt of how much she paid for security. Exhibit 9. Um, the judge again parked. These are text messages. I'm trying to go down to other exhibits. There's more photos of her driving by. Like, it's a very kind of specific kind of car. You won't miss it, okay? But also, like, does the judge not work? I mean, that's it. That's all we have is 29 exhibits, and there's just screenshots and messages and probably USB videos because it sounds like it might be apart from that. Does the judge not drive? Excuse me, not work or what? Like, how do you have time to be following these people day and night? I can see all of our heads spinning. I mean, but this is like crazy work. That's crazy. Yeah, you said they got too many cameras now. Yeah, you can't get away with shit like this, especially, like, if people are complying and stuff like that. Yeah, like, aren't you busy? Judges are supposed like, the what? I don't know. I So apparently, in my opinion, based on how this communication conversation was going on those text messages, I think the ex is a judge or was a judge and he didn't get elected. And she's just trying to talk to him like, "Hey, what's going on? Such a short-sighted individual choice." Same with the lawyer. Are either of them good at their job? Well, wait a minute. Like, I would be worried. I would interfere with my job if somebody would was doing all that. I would notice, you know? And it sounds like she's having a hard time. I mean, she admitted to stalking and a body cam footage? I guess I'd have to see that body cam footage. That's crazy work. That's what I wanted to go over. I was like, let's go and see what you guys think, or at least an attorney, right? Like, are y'all not busy? It's the I wish I could show you. I can't blur this right now, but well, maybe I can hold up. Let me see if I can do this. Um, maybe I can screenshot it here and then blur it that way. And rotate it. I think I could do that. Let's see. Done. See how long it takes me to do this. If it takes me too long, I won't be able to do it. Um yeah, let's rotate this. Okay. So this covers the number at least. Um like let me show you guys what I'm seeing on my screen, okay? Okay. So I've covered covered the number. Um this is him. She's texting him. And he responds, "Hi, yes, and I lost. I need you to stop driving by my house and Kelsey's house, please." She responds with, "I'm really sorry about the election. I believe this choice is short sighted and will be recognized as a mistake in the future. On the bright side, you can concentrate on practicing law now. You have my word. A lot of life has happened since we last talked. At least for me, I'd like to talk when you're able. Let me know." She said, "I'd like to talk when you're able. Let me know." I know, right? I'm waiting to see that. I want to see that too. Right. Anyways, that's no joke right there. That's crazy work. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to let you guys go because I just wanted to review that. But y'all let me know what you guys think. That situation is crazy work. That's crazy. If you didn't watch the first video, we did it earlier this morning and reviewed that whole paragraph and everything. He said, "How about you focus on not breaking the laws?" How about you could just, you know, be a judge. But I'm kind of worried now because now I have to question her judgment on a lot of things. Mhm. That's just insane. Anyways, I will see you guys. I gotta go get some rest. I'm tired. But I will see you guys on the next one tomorrow. Hit the like button, please, and share. Shout out to everybody. Well, shout out to the people that supported Intergalactic. Thank you. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button. Show some support. Thank you. Thank you. Much, much love. I have a lot of questions too. So we'll see how that story develops. But I mean, what do you guys think? I think the judge had every right to, not the judge, I'm sorry, the lawyer. I think the lawyer had every right to get a protection order and out this judge. I would be worried. I really would. So she's got every right to protect herself. I support her decisions. All right. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys. Hit the like. Bye, guys.